Danny Schuman, The Worst Business Model in the World. A new kind of guide for a new kind of entrepreneur. You've heard it a million times. The best things in life are free, and money won't buy you happiness. It's hard to argue with that, but you still have to pay the rent. The trick is to find a way to earn your bread by doing something you love, and chances are that's not working a 9-to-5 job. That's where these blinks come in. By laying out a non-businessy business plan, they provide a roadmap for creative thinkers who want to swap the daily grind for something more exciting and still be comfortably profitable. Designed by entrepreneur Danny Schuman and supported by practical tips gleaned from in-depth interviews with over 100 successful self-starters, this business model might just be perfect for you. Put it into action today, and there's no telling where you'll find yourself tomorrow. Blink number 1. Using the us doing our thing model makes entrepreneurship human and approachable. If you've ever spent a day in the office staring at the clock and just waiting for the day to be over, then you'll know the value of earning money doing something you love. That's where us doing our thing, UDOT for short, comes in. It's an entrepreneurship model that adds a little process to doing what you love and figuring out the rest along the way. UDOT entrepreneurs, or UDOTs, work for themselves rather than a boss. They focus on what they're good at and what gets them excited. Sounds great, right? But there's a catch. UDOTs aren't very good at the logistical and technical side of things. That's a problem, because success is partly built on these foundations. After all, no business is going to make it if it can't get a website up and running or comply with existing laws and regulations. But UDOTs either don't care or aren't very good at that stuff. They like working things out on the fly. If that sounds familiar, these blinks are for you. Think of it as the business part of your business, the essentials that support the fun stuff. It may make the UDOT style of entrepreneurship sound like the worst business model possible. It might be chaotic, but it's also rewarding. Granted, it doesn't fit the common sense idea of what a business is. It's not about planning and minimizing risk at every turn, nor is it about making as much money as possible. What it is about is living in the moment, being flexible, and experiencing your version of success. You have to make enough money to live well, of course, but as your parents probably taught you, money can't buy happiness. Few things nurture the soul like freedom. That's what UDOTs cherish above all else, the chance to seek out exciting new opportunities and never be bored. It may go hand in hand with project-based work and a degree of financial insecurity, but it's worth it. The upsides? Well, they include working when and where you like, seeing more of your family and friends, pursuing your interests, and turning down work you don't care for. Blink number 2. Trust yourself and have faith in the value of your work. One of the challenges you'll encounter when you start out as an entrepreneur is writing proposals and figuring out how much to charge. It's all too easy to undervalue your work and charge less than you actually deserve. Whatever you do, don't do that. Getting paid what you're worth starts with learning to trust yourself. Part of that involves charging your clients a fee that may make you uncomfortable at first. But if you underestimate your own value, you won't make the money that's commensurate with the quality of work you're providing. So, here's a good rule of thumb. Ask yourself what you think a fair price would be, and double it. Don't be scared of doing this, even if your client is a friend. They'll tell you if they think it's too much, and you can always discuss it and see if you can agree on a compromise. Strange as it might sound, charging more means people will value your work more. If they're paying a decent amount, they'll assume you're worth it, and that'll motivate you to do better work. Self-trust isn't just about the numbers on an invoice, though. If you want to develop trust in yourself, you need to craft an inspiring story that'll help you get to where you want to go. Feeling sorry for yourself is a trap, and it's hard to get out once you've fallen into it. You start thinking the world is conspiring against you when it really isn't. Don't fall back on a sob story when the going gets tough. Tell yourself a story about a time when you were hugely successful. That could be a previous project that wowed your clients. Think back to how smoothly the work went and how happy everyone was with the end product. Use it as a reminder of how good you are every time you're tempted to fall into a sad story. Blink number 3. Have faith that the world wants you to succeed. If you're a budding entrepreneur, your head is probably brimming with brilliant concepts, but who can you talk to when it comes to bringing them to life? If you want to succeed, you have to learn to trust the world. That means getting over the hurdle of sharing your time and ideas with other people. Remember the old saying, you reap what you sow. Life is really like that. You can be sure that you'll get in return whatever you give, and then some. When you know something that might help others, think of all the good you could do by sharing your knowledge. You could help other U-Dots build a website, avoid financial and legal pitfalls, or write their invoices. Take it from the author. When he lost his agency job, he asked other professionals for help getting back on his feet and launching his own business. Over countless dinners, they shared their invaluable advice and insights. People, he learned, can be extremely generous with their time and wisdom. That's a lesson he's taken to heart. Today, he goes out of his way to help young entrepreneurs struggling to find their way. Trusting the world is also about having faith that the next project is always just around the corner. As a U-Dot, you'll have to get used to financial insecurity. Your money will inevitably run out at some point, but there's always another ship on the horizon. The most important thing is to keep telling yourself that it's going to come in any day now. That's something the author knows all about. His marketing company, Twist, crashed after just 6 months when his funding sources dried up. That was a bitter pill to swallow, but there was an unforeseen upside. It meant that he had time to return to something he'd always loved doing, writing. After posting blog posts about his experience, one of his readers reached out and gave him a project to work on. That was enough to tide him over and give him renewed momentum. Soon enough, he was back on his feet and his business was thriving. But remember that having faith isn't passive. When you need work, don't be shy about telling everyone you know about your situation. Whether it's posting on social media or calling up a friend or colleague, keep your communication channels open. Blink number 4. You might be on your own, but you're never alone, so be generous and share what you have. If you've seen the TV series Mad Men, you'll remember what advertising guru Don Draper thought about clients. Not much. There wasn't anything he hated more than having to deal with them. U-Dots don't see it that way. They think of it like this. When you genuinely love your clients, you'll never be alone in your business. In fact, building solid relationships with clients is one of the most rewarding parts of being a U-Dot, both financially and emotionally. This appreciation doesn't hinge on money, however. It hinges on mutual trust. The author built up his business by taking potential clients out to lunch and hoping they'd throw some work his way. Years later, they're still at the core of his company, giving him his most regular gigs. That's something small business owners know all about. Most of their earnings come from repeat customers. But it's not enough to just feel the love. You also have to show it. Even small gestures can make a big difference. Simply sending your most loyal customers notes or articles that might interest them goes a long way. The same goes for small gifts on holidays or special occasions. Loyalty, in other words, is its own reward. Stay true to your business partners, and you'll never be alone. It doesn't matter if it's an IT specialist who's helping you build an app or just your hairdresser. Every relationship can be beneficial in its own unique way. After all, those are the people who are most likely to go the extra mile and help you meet an impossible deadline or squeeze you in for a trim on a busy day.